Have you ever felt like life is just a series of endless obstacles? Problems piling up like never-ending waves? You solve one and another one just appears? Have you ever wondered if there's a real way to overcome all these challenges? In a world full of uncertainty, the Buddha offered teachings that have been like a guiding light for over 2,500 years. Even though times change, the essence of his wisdom remains invaluable, helping us overcome all suffering. Today, we're going to talk about 7 powerful teachings of the Buddha that can help you overcome every problem in your life and find true freedom from suffering. 1. Suffering arises and suffering passes away. Life is a journey filled with both joy and sorrow. If we get stuck thinking, why me, or when will this end? It might be because we don't yet understand that suffering is a natural part of life. The Buddha taught that suffering arises from causes. And when those causes cease, suffering also ends. Imagine a cloud floating across the sky. Sometimes it forms into a scary storm, lightning, thunder, heavy rain. But soon it fades away. The sun returns, the sky becomes clear again. It's the same with our problems. No matter how difficult they seem, eventually they will pass. We just need to see them as they truly are and not cling to them too tightly. The important thing is to understand that suffering is a temporary state. If we dwell on it or think it will last forever, we'll feel heavy and lose hope. But if we see it as just a wave that comes and goes, we can handle it better. We don't need to run from suffering or try to force it away immediately. Doing that only adds more suffering unnecessarily. The Buddha taught that understanding the nature of suffering is the first step to overcoming it. When we realize it arises and will pass, we won't get lost in worry or sadness. We'll learn to observe it mindfully and let it run its natural course. 2. Everything is impermanent. Have you ever noticed that nothing in life stays the same forever? Everything is constantly changing. The Buddha taught that anicca, or impermanence, is the nature of all things. What causes us pain today will eventually pass. What we hold on to tightly today will one day change. Think about a leaf changing color from green to yellow, then falling from the tree. It's just the cycle of nature. It's the same with our lives. If we accept that everything changes, we won't cling to things and will be better prepared to handle changes. When we realize the impermanence of all things, we begin to understand that both suffering and happiness are temporary. Nothing lasts forever, just like the seasons. When the rainy season ends, winter comes, and eventually spring returns. Our lives are the same. Every moment is just a transition. Nothing stays still. The key is to learn to live with change mindfully and accept it with an open heart, instead of fearing and resisting it. Look at your own life. Is there anything you thought would last forever but eventually changed? Friendships, relationships, possessions, or even your own feelings. This confirms that everything is always changing. Instead of trying to hold on to what cannot be kept, practice letting go and living in the present moment more. Because when we know nothing is permanent, we appreciate every moment in life and use it to its fullest potential. Ultimately, understanding impermanence doesn't mean we should lose hope or be pessimistic. On the contrary, it helps us live a lighter life. We don't have to fear change, but learn to live with it peacefully. When we accept this truth, our lives become freer because we don't have to carry false hopes or endless fears anymore. 3. True happiness is within. Have we ever believed that happiness comes from external things? A good job, a big house, a fancy car, or a perfect relationship. These are things many people chase, believing they will bring happiness. But once we get them, we often find that the happiness is only temporary. As time passes, We want even more endlessly. The Buddha taught that true happiness comes within, inner peace, letting go of attachments, and living with kindness and mindfulness. It's like water in a glass. If we keep looking for water from outside to fill our glass, we might never realize that pure water is always within us. Think of small children who laugh happily at simple things, like the wind blowing or a friend's laughter, without needing many external things. That's because they haven't been conditioned by the world to define what happiness is. But as we grow up, society shapes us to believe that happiness must come from external objects, when in reality, those things are just illusions. If we practice living mindfully, stopping and looking deep into our own hearts, we will discover that true happiness doesn't come from having more, but from wanting less. It's about being content with the present and appreciating what we already have. When we stop chasing external things, we'll find that true happiness is closer than we think. It's in a genuine smile, in the peace of sitting quietly, in love that doesn't need to possess, and it has always been in our hearts. 4. Everything happens for a reason, cause, and effect. Nothing happens by chance. Everything that happens in life has a cause and effect behind it. The Buddha taught the law of karma. What we do in the past affects the present, and what we do now will affect the future. Think of a seed we plant. If we sow seeds of kindness, perseverance, and understanding, we will receive their fruits in return. But if we sow seeds of anger, hatred, and greed, we will also have to face their consequences. Life is the same. Sometimes we wonder why we face obstacles or seemingly unfair situations. But in reality, everything that happens comes from the causes and conditions we have created, whether it's our own actions or external environmental factors. When we understand this, we stop blaming fate and begin to take responsibility for our own lives. Understanding the principle of cause and effect makes us live more mindfully and carefully. If we want a better life, we must start planting seeds of goodness today, not just hoping good things will happen without any supporting causes. It's like taking care of a tree. If we water it, fertilize it, and care for it well, it will grow into a strong tree. But if we neglect it, don't care, or do bad things, the results will be the same. So, every time we make a decision, ask yourself, what kind of seed am I planting? What kind of results will it yield in the future? Because ultimately, we are always the ones who receive the consequences of our own actions. 5. Mindfulness is the key. Have you ever done something without realizing it? Said something you later regretted? Or accidentally did something you shouldn't have, simply because you forgot to think carefully first? This is a result of a lack of mindfulness, which can lead us to get lost in temporary emotions, causing our decisions to be controlled by anger, greed, or delusion. The Buddha taught that being mindful in the present moment helps us deal with problems better and prevents us from creating more problems unknowingly. Imagine a tightrope walker. If he's not mindful and gets lost in thoughts about the past or worries about the future, he might stumble and fall easily. Our lives are the same. If we let our thoughts drift without mindfulness, we might make wrong decisions, harming ourselves or others unintentionally. Practicing mindfulness doesn't mean we have to meditate all day. It means being aware of what we're doing, thinking, and feeling at all times. Whether we're eating, walking, working, or talking to someone, if we're always aware, we can control ourselves better and respond to different situations with mindfulness and wisdom, rather than just reacting emotionally. Mindfulness also helps us recognize our own thoughts and feelings at every moment. For example, when we feel angry, if we are mindful, we can observe that emotion without letting it control us. We might ask ourselves, why am I angry? What do I gain from being angry? How will this affect me and those around me? When we mindfully reflect, we can manage our emotions better, instead of letting emotions lead us astray. Life is full of challenges, but if we practice strong mindfulness, we can walk through various difficulties without wavering, like a tightrope walker who is steady with every step. Mindfulness helps us make better decisions, have inner peace, and live life to the fullest without being controlled by temporary emotions. 6. Kindness and compassion lighten life. Have you ever felt that when someone hurts us, we tend to hold on to anger for a long time, and it ends up hurting us instead? Sometimes we might feel that anger gives us power or protects us from pain. But in reality, anger is like fuel that burns us, causing us to suffer unknowingly. The Buddha taught that kindness, metta, and compassion, karuna, are not just something we give to others, but a gift we give to ourselves. When we forgive and let go, we're not just helping others escape guilt or conflict. We're freeing ourselves from a heavy emotional burden. Imagine a large rock you've been carrying all the time. It's heavy and makes you tired. But if you choose to put it down, you'll immediately feel lighter and more comfortable. It's the same with anger, jealousy, or stress. If we let them go with kindness and forgiveness, we will find inner peace. Notice that when we show kindness to others, even those who cause us pain, we find that the heavy feeling in our hearts begins to lighten, like opening a window to let in sunlight and fresh air, replacing the stuffy feeling in a dark room. Practicing kindness can start simply by giving ourselves and others a chance. For example, if someone disappoints us, instead of reacting with anger, try asking yourself, what are they going through? Or how can I respond to make the situation better? Looking at others with understanding helps us broaden our hearts and let go of anger more easily. When we have kindness and compassion in our hearts, our lives become lighter, not because we give up on what happens, but because we choose not to let those things control our minds. Forgiveness doesn't mean we accept wrong actions, but it means choosing not to let it be a burden on our minds anymore. 7. Letting go is the path to peace. Finally, the Buddha taught that letting go is the path to true peace. Many times we suffer because we refuse to let go, whether to past mistake, unrealistic expectations, or clinging to things we can't control. Letting go doesn't mean abandoning everything in life. It means learning not to cling to things beyond our control and choosing to live in the present moment with mindfulness and balance. Imagine someone trying to hold sand in their hand. The tighter they squeeze, the faster the sand slips away. But if we slowly open our hand, we see that the sand stays with us without needing to be forced. Life is the same. If we let go, we will find true peace. Letting go doesn't mean we neglect or don't care. It's about learning to deal with things without letting suffering control us. When we let go, we understand that everything comes and goes. Nothing stays with us forever, whether it's happiness or suffering. When we accept this, our hearts will feel lighter. We won't have to try to hold on to what cannot be controlled, and we won't have to fear loss anymore. We can practice letting go by practicing mindfulness. When we recognize our own thoughts and emotions without clinging to them, we can see problems objectively and choose to move through them peacefully. Peace doesn't come from having no problems, but from knowing how to deal with problems wisely. So, if you feel heavy today, ask yourself, what am I clinging to? Does this truly make me happy? If the answer is no, perhaps it's time to slowly open your hand and let that thing go, so that life can move forward lightly, comfortably, and peacefully. These 7 teachings of the Buddha are not just concepts, but practical guidelines that can be applied in daily life. When we apply these principles, we will find that the problems that once seemed so heavy become merely lessons that help us grow. And in the end, the most important thing is not trying to make life free of problems, but learning to live with problems mindfully, letting go. What should be let go? And moving forward with a calm and steady heart. That's all for this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Dhamma for Life channel. Thank you